Hey everyone, HeatherAsh here with Mary Nicosia. Mary. Yay.
Happy almost New Year.
Happy almost New Year, everybody. So we are love streaming, and I'm going to do a couple fussy things behind the scenes as people come on. Hey everybody. And the first fussy thing is to share. Not fussy thing, that's not the right way to put it. So as you're joining us, share where you're tuning in from, and we will share. Oh, I've got all these things. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
So I'm about to share the schedule. I hope. Schedule for today. Love stream. And I need to add a photo. Okay, so welcome everybody that's tuning in. There's the movie. So exciting. Okay, we are sharing in 1 second.
Hi, everybody coming on. Hi, Leah. Hi, Mark.
There it is.
Betty. You folk.
Open with preview. Rename it. So exciting. Love streaming schedule. And I'm going to go ahead and share this in a second. New Year's. So Mary and I are going to talk about integrating 2020. We're going to do some reminiscing. I have a super special video. So exciting. All right. So that is called Love Streaming Schedule. And I'm going to post the Love Streaming Schedule, and I'm going to share it with you guys. Stream. There it is. Boom. Boom. So fun. Post. Okay. Hey,
hi, Maddie.
Yay. Hey, Mama.
Hey, Wendy. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, everybody. Okay, I'm going to share 1 second. Share screen, if it'll let me. Application window. Yes. Okay, this isn't going to be the best way to do this, but it's a way. Look, can you see it? There's our love streaming schedule. Yay. All right, so now I can quit that. Stop sharing. Oh, look, that changed it. Okay, good.
Oh, that's good. Some hidden objects on the floor.
So I am coming to you live from New Mexico, Las Vegas, New Mexico, which is outside of Santa Fe. And Mary is coming to you live from
Allen, Texas.
So we are in different places. But we started off the year in the same place, more or less, in March, in San Antonio, Texas, where we went into quarantine together for the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic. So, hey, Tom, hey, Colette, hey, Mark, everybody. So we were going to take some time to just reminisce a little bit and just share. And Mary, why don't you introduce yourself? I'm going to go grab all of the love stream things in the other room because I think it's hilarious for us to review them.
Yeah.
Why don't you share about yourself a little bit? I'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. So my name's Mary Nicosia, and HeatherAsh has been in my life for around 11 years. I'm one of the Warrior Goddess mentors in the mentorship circle, and we were together back in March in San Antonio, Texas, and we were set to have like a 2-week-long facilitators training that turned into about a 2-month-long love streaming project. And I'm going to save the story of the moment we had the shared epiphany to actually start live streaming on Facebook. But it's very sweet for both of us to be able to be together to round out this year, because we've been each other's partners in crime. in quarantine number ones all year long, from city to city, tour to tour. But I first met HeatherAsh in Austin, and she was teaching a spoon bending class. And I think it might have been around January. We might be going into a new anniversary together.
Aww.
But what was miraculous about that is I learned that night what was possible when I really focused my intent and my energy on something, and we bent spoons. So one day again, we'll do that online with people. And, fast forward 11 years later, still in love.
Still having crazy fun.
Yeah. Still having
Can you hear
wild
me? I just shifted to my air. Yeah, still
Yes.
having wild adventures. Okay, good. So here is part of the wild adventure for today. Okay, this is always the fun part. Yes! Okay, so here's today's love stream schedule, and then tomorrow we'll have more love stream scheduling. So I'll write it down. So right now, HeatherAsh and Mary, review 2020, that's this. 5 o'clock, we'll have an integration break. We're gonna give you homework if you wanna play. 6 o'clock, meditation with Mary. This is all Central Time, Texas, Central. 7 p.m., dance party on Zoom. I'll share the link because we can have a dance party. And then we're gonna build an altar and we'll have love streaming on the altar. So that's today. I just talked to Tara. She's gonna play tomorrow. So she'll come in tomorrow as well and play. Yay!
Put it a little closer, baby. Oh!
So, okay, so just a little review. So, okay, we went into quarantine, I guess it was March 15th. We had literally just finished. I think the 13th was the last day and everybody left. And then Mary and I made the decision. It happened kind of separately for us, right? I think I was in the shower and I was like, you had said something like, we need to have a TV. Like, we just need to do TV all the time. And I'm thinking, Mary's crazy. What is she talking about? And then a couple of days later, I'm in the shower and I'm like, we should just live stream from here. There's good internet. There's no, this is the best internet anywhere. So I come running downstairs and I'm like, Mary, let's do live streaming. Let's see if Randy will let us stay. We were at a retreat center at my publisher's place. And so we texted Randy and said, Randy, we have this crazy idea. Can we stay for a couple weeks? And I think at the time we decided it was going to be 2 weeks. It ended up being like a month, 6 weeks. I don't even remember.
May.
Yeah, till May. A long time.
A long time. We moved in. Yeah.
So Randy said, yes, you can live stream from the living room of my house, sure, from his retreat house. And so this really cracks me up. So this was one of our first love streams, March 20th. Look at this. This was us. Like, we started off insane.
How many things can we pack into one day?
We had work parties. We had mini teachings. Yeah. And then by the end of it, we started calming down. So here's an April 6th version. That's not much calming down. We did a book club. We did a Love Revolutionaries gathering. So this is really fun. Oh, here's March 21st. So you guys just get to see.
Mm-hmm.
We did chanting until we realized we couldn't do chanting because they cut us off.
Mm-hmm. The limitations.
The limitations. And look, Mary, that special day where we did knitting in bed.
Oh,
and poetry.
Wow. My mom, whoa, what happened to my camera? My mom that day was like, you look really tired. Stop knitting.
Stop knitting. My mom did that regularly. HeatherAsh, you need to rest more. Hi, Mom. Oh, and we had guests.
It was really professional level broadcasting. And we would color coordinate the markers the night before and the heart placement.
Yes, that was very important. We had guests. March 27th. I think we stopped eventually doing these. This is a good one.
Oh, lunch, rest, and kitties. That
And
sounds like
kitties.
the greatest 2 hours ever.
Yes. Healing with Mary.
That was a great day.
It was a great day. Stephen Farmer came on. So it was epic. And all the videos are still there. So if you want to see videos from Love Streaming March, April, there are hundreds. Hundreds. So here's where they live. I remember when you went out for sushi date night. Sushi date night. That was so good.
That was amazing. So HeatherAsh and I got stir crazy and we wanted to go out on a date. We wanted to have a real date, friend date. And so we put our masks on, and back then it was still kind of touch and go, but we found a restaurant that was safe and we could get sushi from. And we didn't just buy like 1 or 2 plates of sushi. It was all over the place. Well, we got like 5 or 6 things. It was pretty epic. And all I wanted was for HeatherAsh just to drive really fast. And I stuck my head out the window like a dog. And it was so refreshing after being in the house for so long. And then we parked somewhere pretty and had the sushi. And of course, did a Facebook Live. All the creative things and ways we've learned to connect through the years. But that was pretty early on. Good day.
That was fun. Okay, just put this love streaming schedule up. So if you want to see the March video love streams, if you go to Facebook, let me just do it here again, facebook.com/heatherash.amara/live. You can find them there. And I have a special video for everybody. People have been asking for this, which is the update on the cats. So we'll see if it works. So while we were there, this is so great. There was this cat named Peter Parker Bell. And Peter Parker Bell was like super needy and like always in everybody's way, and great cat, meowed all the time. And like a week in, Heather goes, I think she's pregnant. No, she didn't say, I think she's pregnant. Heather would not have said that. Heather said, she's pregnant. And we're all like, no, she's not. She's pregnant. She can't be pregnant. She's a baby. Of course, Heather was correct. Peter Parker Bell was pregnant. And on the equinox, March 21st, she had babies, which we live streamed. We live streamed the baby birthing, which got us into all sorts of trouble, which I finally pulled the video because I still had people to this day before I pulled the video saying, why are you not helping that cat? What is happening in the background? Why are you guys so mean? Why is it so bright in there? Like people being really upset with us. I'm like, it's a cat. She knows what she's doing. She doesn't need our help. And indeed, she had 9 kittens, one of whom got smushed, one of whom didn't make it, which was a good thing because 8 was friggin' plenty of cats. And the creek streaming, so good. So 2 of those cats came with us to New Mexico because we both moved to New Mexico after Texas. Romeo and Black Moon Lilith. Romeo's full name is Romeo Apollo Savage. And I made a video. Guys, let me see it. There's music. Forgive me around the music because it's just, let me see if this works. Share screen. Oh, look. Okay, here we go. Can you see it? Oh, kitties. There's Peter Parker Bell.
There's Peter Parker Bell. Oh. Oh man.
They're so little.
If you want endless footage of this, please
I
go
could
to our
end this
library.
footage of this. Little Lilith. The slow-mo of Apollo.
There's Apollo. He became Romeo.
He became Romeo because he's such a love bunny.
Mm-hmm. Aww. Yes.
This is when I started moving him into the Airstream, which they then thrashed, which is good. So this was the move to New Mexico.
Wow. HeatherAsh's trailer became their playground.
It did.
They took over. I think we should be humming like through the years. Oh.
Skunkly! We have to talk about him.
Oh, yeah. These two. Come on. Who is that?
That was today.
Whoa.
Is that awesome? And the last photo was from them today. Grown up. They're doing good. All grown up. And they have a skunk friend. So when we they have a shed that they live in, that they sleep in, that they have to keep vying with the skunk. That was fun.
They did pretty well with it. They do well with wildlife in general. I think
that
they've
is
been
true.
Impeccably raised.
They have. And they're about to move again, it'll be fun to see how they do with the next move. So that was kitties.
Yeah, kitties were, I think, our #1 hit while we were live streaming together, hands down. Oh. Like we would do these deep moving teachings, like from the heart, and doing yoga and meditation, and people would be like, "Thank you. How are the kitties? Could you just show us endless footage of the kitties?" I think we had like the largest viewers on those days. It was amazing.
It's true.
So there's an update.
It's true. There's an update. They're doing good. Yeah. And it's not the same taking videos of them when they're nursing or like romping around with their mom versus now where they're like, boom, boom. Like they do not sit still. It's rare. So today to get the photo of the both of them together, Franklin was like, okay, we just rebooted. Hopefully we're back. So what did you learn this year, Mary? What were some of your biggest lessons from the year?
I think that one of the greatest lessons I can take away from this year is how little I truly need to be happy, joyful, grateful, in love, really being able to root in and ground. And I've just noticed through all the interactions that I have with people how grateful I am to even have the interaction. So I think it really brought things into perspective. And I think it inspired, I loved the way you and I played this year, and it just inspired how creative we can get as humans. And especially being able to connect to what it was that I really loved or what I wanted for the world or how I wanted to contribute. And even if I literally didn't know what that was going to look like, as long as I held, it's amazing looking back on my year of just how much we videotaped, we taught, we created. We have a totally different business model now. Like there was just a lot of regeneration that happened, and just holding the intent, no matter what this year looks like. I believe in love. I believe in love. I believe in love. How can I serve? How can I serve? And and just the deepened capacity that there's far less in the external world that I really need in order just to hold that. And then the amazement of what can be created with sometimes so little and so much. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, definitely the same. And like super flexibility. There were so many times when we didn't know what we were going to do next, what it was going to look like. And we would both just get quiet and meditate and build an altar, and then have something drop in and be like, let's try it. Let's go. And to be able to be in service to the degree that we, like, if somebody, I mean, so many things, if somebody had told me, you know, you're going to be live streaming 24/7 for a week, I would have been, no. You know, you're going to be living in San Antonio for 2+ months. Yeah, just, you're going to be landed in New Mexico and building your building. There were so many things that were surprises, but also really lovely surprises. And the amount of flexibility that our entire team had, that's something that really stands out for me, is that because we were together, because of who I think we all are and how much work we've all done, and we were together right before lockdown happened, we were able to have a meeting and say, okay, what are we going to do? And just implement. And, you know, we had the love streaming happening, but we also had like that first Warrior Goddess Authenticity class that we had 700 people signed up for it.
Yeah.
And just to know that we could be in service to that many people at the same time was just incredible. And that we kept pivoting and we kept trying new things and we kept being of service, and that's continued. So yeah. Madrone, love has been my rock even more so this year. Yeah. And it's true. Necessity is a mother of invention. So true. So true. Yeah. So good. Leslie, I remember doing yoga with Heather one morning, and I turned around and then I looked back at the camera and I couldn't believe she was standing on her head.
Really?
Watch
I
out.
missed that
Things
morning.
like turn upside down. Yeah. Madrone, at the very beginning of the pandemic, I remember you saying that we were never in control, but that the illusion of control was now gone. This struck with me. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely at the beginning of the year had, I think, that illusion shifted in a big way. That we could really direct things. There's always surprises. There's always been surprises. There will always be surprises. Yeah.
What was really inspiring to me, and I feel like through my entire life, I continually remember, and remind myself of that it's okay to not know, to be really surprised by something. Because I think in retrospect, just echoing back to what you said around, like, I never would have imagined that I would think it was a brilliant idea to love stream on Facebook for 24 hours a day, or have an epiphany in the shower, or stay in one place. Because you and I were both very mobile before this all happened. But coming back to present moment and kind of embracing the surprise, like in that not knowing sense, it was brilliant to recognize, and I'm sure this happened for many of us, is how prepared we already were in many, many ways in our lives. So while a lot of things felt really scattering and were very scary through most of the year in different ways for all of us, that there was like a readiness and there was a groundedness in a lot of spectacular ways for us that really had an opportunity to shine through the entire year. And I think a lot of times that can get overshadowed by the fear or the worry or the anxiety. But I've seen humans do incredibly spectacular things all year long. I've seen a lot of creativity, a lot of inspiration, a lot of huge acts of love. So yeah, how surprise can bring that out.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
absolutely.
just mentioned like sitting into how much like living the teachings for so long, and the moment when things begin to scatter, you go, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, and that opportunity over and over again to drop in and get still and not take on the fear. I think that was something that you and I were both really wanting to model and hold, is that there was a lot of fear, there was a lot of uncertainty, and that was part of what led us to want to do the love streaming, was to hold hands with everybody, to say it's going to be okay, we're going to get through this, and to be steady, to share that sense of steadiness in a time when it was really unsteady. And I know for both of us, like, especially in the beginning, because it was so crazy with how much we were trying to do and learning what was feasible and what was not feasible, and how to rest, and how to stay clear ourselves, like how to not take on the fear, how to not take on the confusion with all the different things that happened this year. Because 2020 for me was like, there are three main chunks of 2020. There was pandemic, there was politics, which was happening, much of 2020, and that kept getting amped up, especially in the United States, right, with the election. And then there was the murder of so many, especially Black men, that became so highlighted. And the awakening, it's not the right word, I've been kind of struggling with this word all day, of like the veil being ripped off for some of us. Some people there was never a veil, but for some of us, the veil being ripped off of how insipid and insidious structural racism continued to be. And that coming to light, and the movement. So, and the fires, yeah, Starling, that's right. And all the fires, California, Washington, Oregon, and the fires last year in Australia. So true. Yeah. And so that place of also like seeing more, and the hurricanes, like seeing more how climate change was impacting all of us, and that it was no longer a out there thing. And I think that's really a lot of what this year did, is that things that were in Colorado, things that were out there, like, oh yeah, racism exists. Oh yeah, there's climate change. Oh yeah, there's, the potential for this virus, any virus, it all became very immediate, is what it feels like. And people dealt with that in different ways, of either, I'm going to ignore this, I don't want this to be happening, I want it to go back to normal, or diving in and going, okay, what's our next steps? How do we deal with climate change and all the hurricanes and the fires, and realize it's just going to get worse, is the truth. How do we navigate the pandemic, and that it's not going to be over tomorrow, and that even if there is a vaccine, that it's not going to be over tomorrow. And so, this reminder, part of why I wanted to do the love stream, is to wrap up the year and to open up into 2021, is just that reminder for all of us of sustainability, that we want to be in for the long haul with each other. And with all of the issues that we're navigating, there's a lot of complexity that we're navigating at this time. And there isn't going to be a quick fix. When you're navigating structural racism, it's not a quick fix. It's not, okay, everybody just, read these 3 books and we're done. Or like, finally listen, or finally be heard and it's done. Like, there's so much that we're unpacking. Same thing with the pandemic. Oh, yay, there'll be a vaccine and we'll be done. Or elections. We're going to elect the person that we think is the right person, and then everything will be fine. We're dealing with really intense complexity, and that doesn't have to be a bad thing. It just means that we need to continue to learn how to be more resilient, more present, more loving, more connected to each other, more creative. As Mary said, it's so true. The creativity that we've come up with as humans is amazing. I mean, remember early on in the pandemic when Italy was so bad? Like now, it seems like so long ago. But when we started, like we knew China was bad, but then the highlight was really on Italy for months. And people coming and singing on the porches.
Yeah.
And New York, when New York was so bad, and people coming out and cheering the healthcare workers at a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so much more, but those are just some things that pop into my head of the early, more cooperative.
And I think it's, you can look at the perspective of, of things either being unfolded or illuminated or enlightened, or many of us also that had the experience of, I'm happy that this is suddenly more in the public eye or is part of discussion, however that equation is. I also think the thing that's most important to me, just transitioning from this calendar marker from today into 2021, what I have is that sense of presentness you were talking about, HeatherAsh, around like this idea of really rooting in and not consistently aiming or looking for the better thing or the quick fix or the way things used to be. I just can feel it. It's been soul stirring within me that it's actually the motion of my life feels like it's getting more rooted as opposed to less reaching. And I'm starting to realize how cycles of the far reaching or what if, or it will get better if it's just like this, or my life will be happier if I just have this thing, and this energy that's constantly moving out hasn't really been productive all the time for me. And I feel like that's a huge thing that's been illuminated for many of us. And so in this marker, in this transition over the next 24 hours, just taking note of the places where maybe there is grief, maybe there is joy, and just letting that, the relief and the settledness of everything that's come in through my body through this year, to allow it to root me as opposed to necessarily doing more of this. It feels really strengthening, and it still feels regenerative to me, at least.
Beautiful. Yeah, I so agree. That idea of sustainability, like over the long term. How do we root more deeply, show up, and stay in? Yeah. And I think that's something that I'm also settling in with, is long-term relationships, long-term change that probably will not happen in my lifetime. And that there's value and beauty in continuing to take actions and in mending the tears in the web between humans, one human at a time and one relationship at a time. And that it's a slow process. And there's an urgency, I think, to these times. That urgency of climate change is increasing. There is this just really deep racism that's built into everything in our lives, and how that affects all of us. We have this virus, but who knows when the next one's coming or what that's going to look like, or if this one's going to mutate, or, this idea that we just need a vaccine and that fixes it. Like there's these long-term issues that looking at the roots rather than just trying to figure out how to trim the branches and make it look better. It's so important. Yeah, and that willingness to change. Exactly, Robin. And willingness too to be in relationship. So Mary and I we were in San Antonio for 2 months, and we went to New Mexico, and we're neighbors, and so we've been around each other a lot, which has been wonderful, and we've had so much fun and so much beauty and so much creativity, and a lot of visits to churches and temples and hiking, and there's also been conflict and places where we both have hit our edge and been so tempted to go back into old patterns. And the courage we've both had and the willingness to go, okay, let's come towards each other, even though it's so uncomfortable and we don't want to, and how we've managed to do that over and over again and let some of the old patterns break from our lives. Some really, really old patterns have gotten challenged. So it's been so beautiful and not easy at times, but also perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's remarkable. I'm really starting in a much deeper way to start to recognize how having the capacity to move through conflict actually deepens relationships, and deepens love and deepens capacity. And our relationship, I feel like, has been really extraordinary in that way, because on top of everything through the year, and the fact that you and I are in relationship in so many different ways. We work together, best friends together, navigating that. I just think it's a profound gift to have another human who is willing to show up no matter what, no matter how uncomfortable they are, which is something that takes time, it takes attention, it takes willingness, and it really takes courage. Because I enjoy a good run. Bye. This was fun. Catch you later. And again, it comes back to that really rooted place within us where I feel really complete and content with holding love. And I forget where I just read this today. I think it was a tarot creator. She said, the battle has not been won until you return to love. I have never had an experience where this hasn't been true. I've never felt a place of resolution within myself without returning back to love, because there's this opening, or even, and sometimes it even just feels like a neutrality with any situation that I may be battling within myself. And really it is within myself. And I have a beautiful mirror. Coming back home to that place, that's where the release comes in, where I realize I've moved through something that's full circle and deepened because of it. And it's when I hit that place of love. And I was feeling through that today. So I have a lot of physical pain that I've been in for the last month. And many of us, due to limitations sometimes with medical care, have been battling our own issues, because it's been terrifying sometimes to make the choice. Do I go to the hospital? Do I go to the doctor? What do I do? So it's added additional stress onto things. And I think the capacity for all of us through the year, also, no matter what we're going through, to come back to softness towards ourselves and choosing that intent, that willingness to come back to love or creativity or perseverance, and just honoring that within yourselves, of however that's looked. And the willingness to say, I'm wrong. I didn't think it was going to go down like that. I had no idea that was coming. Also, I've learned it creates more space for love, especially when you're in relationship with others. So, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, and I think the layers on top of what we're all navigating is like the layers of grief around people that we've lost, things that we've had to change or reschedule, some tiny and some huge things that we've had to let go of, and also the physical, just to name that as well, like you mentioned, Mary, that there's so much uncertainty around things that used to be really easy and we didn't have to think about, like going to the grocery store, or like, is there going to be enough food, or is my friend, one of my best friends just had COVID really bad, really, really bad. And it was, to the degree where they're monitoring her oxygen and basically, are saying, if the oxygen level goes down one more point, call 911. And, we'd be on calls and I'd hear her breathing in the back. I know her very well, so I could hear her breathing in the back, trying to breathe, struggling to breathe in the background. Our friend Heather, that somebody on her team who died earlier this year of heart, it may have been partially COVID related. There's all this uncertainty around that. I think with a lot of people right now, but it was definitely her heart. And to have lost somebody so vibrant and young and present and deeply entwined in our lives, I was looking at photos today and it still is really unreal. And I don't know when it'll become real, because we wouldn't be like, things where I would have seen her, we haven't done. So, and I'm sure a lot of people are having the same situation where there are people that have crossed over and there's been no funeral or no gathering or no way to really integrate it because we haven't been able to be together. Mm-hmm. And I think there's gonna be a lot of that in the coming year, of just integrating all the changes and the challenges and the losses. And there's more to come, unfortunately. But that's also life. I mean, I think that's something that I've been deepening into as well, is that as we all get older and as we go into these times, we're going to lose people. We're going to lose people really close to us. And how to let that allow us to open into more love rather than closing. How to use Heather's death to love more and to let her legacy go forward through us and her humor, and to keep her alive. And that's true for all of our beloveds. How do we keep them alive in our hearts and in our memories and in our inspiration, as inspirations to us? So, mm-hmm. Karen, beautiful to connect with others whom are like-minded, as many people seem to be losing their shit. So many of us are choosing to stay focused on the bigger picture and embody to anchor higher frequencies. Yeah. And it's that place again of choosing love over fear. Over and over.
Yeah. And to occasionally lose our shit.
Or regularly. Yeah. Exactly.
I like to have a combo platter.
Yeah, exactly.
I like a combo platter. And so losing my shit, what does that look like? Acknowledging where I'm at. If I've lost track and my mind has gone off into deep dive land, into the most disaster mind experience ever, and I've got myself all worked up over it, here I am. Oh, I think I need a release right now. Scream, cry, Yeah, I'll come back. Yeah. The other thing that's so fascinating, Ash, is I also think for the most part this year, I've taken the best care of my body and my relationships, which is another thing I just want to voice that I'm really grateful for in reflection to all this. Yeah, that presentness in every choice that you make, of it having a weightedness. Yeah.
Yeah, and also another thing, I so agree. You know, it's so important for us to not try and be perfect or always have it together. Like if you're going to lose it well. Like lose it thoroughly and then come back. And that we're held, like the parts that are fearful or scared or just frustrated are held. Yeah. By the parts of us that are like, oh yeah, there I go. Mm-hmm. And that we'll come back. And also learning how to, like, it's similar somehow, but one of the things that I've learned this year too is how to be in relationship to people that have really different viewpoints than I do, and that, or in fact, scare me with their beliefs, and how to respect their choice, but also be really clear about what mine is. And that's been really beautiful. Like I have a neighbor, I've shared this before, that I have a neighbor up on my land who we obviously have super different political views. And I'm sure our life, like just our viewpoint around many things is very, very different. And early on in the relationship, I felt us both make the agreement silently of like, we're neighbors, we're going to respect each other as neighbors. And that was a really beautiful moment to just set everything else aside. And I have that with a couple of other people in my life now where I'm concerned about them, honestly. And I also just love them fiercely. And so how do I show up with love over and over again and know that they're on their journey, and that we both actually stand for love, and that it'll unfold the way it unfolds. Yeah. Rihanna, it's so uncomfortable in my body itself to stay in fear. The frequency of love is much easier to move through my moments in life. It is. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I've been doing to integrate, we're going to give you some time, integration break in a moment, is I went through all my photos from 2020 and gathered, like just looked through what I was doing, and where I was. I usually do this with my calendar because usually I travel so much. I can look at my calendar, remember, oh, right, in February, I was in here, you know, like I was in these 10 places, and that'll help me to recall. And this year I just looked through my photographs. And that was really helpful to use that as a way to integrate, to look through journals, to look through writings. So for those of you that want to take some time to integrate, look through what have you written, what interested you this year, what were your, what did you learn, what photos did you take? Like it's really interesting to go to review and take some time to just reflect on what you learned in 2020, where you struggled, where you soared, what relationships deepened, what did you let go of, how have you learned to stand with yourself better or not, like all of it, just to be curious. That's great. Rhonda, I've basically been alone in stay at home since March, Los Angeles. I now know that I truly enjoy my own company and glad I was alone with me. Beautiful. That's so great. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a crash course for many of us in being alone, not getting to be with family, not getting to travel in the ways that we traveled. And there's a ways that all of those things are wonderful, but they can also be distractions. Mm-hmm.
And learning to just sit with ourselves and befriend without needing to do, to be, has been a huge gift. Mm. And it'll be so good to hug each other again and to gather and yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really important process in whatever way you feel drawn to review the year. And there's parts of us, I'm sure, that don't want to look back. And I found the times in my life when I've gone back, even in this conversation with HeatherAsh, and started talking, and you probably heard me a couple times go, well, I feel like I took good care of my body this year, despite the fact I'm currently beating myself up over the injury that I have. I've noticed this about myself, that I feel more grounded. So there's pieces and jewels that a lot of times with our minds, unless we become so fixated on the fear and allowing the fear to move us and generate things for us in our life, where we're doing fearful action or moving forward or being on high alert. And we get into patterns around this and we don't quite realize how to get out of them. And I feel like taking a breath and looking back on the year for all the places, honoring all the phases, emotions, things that you've been through. And whatever word resonates, just more opening or more release for you. That could look like love. It could be gratitude. Grief may feel really releasing for you right now. What are the things that you want to kind of move through and grieve from the year? But just taking inventory of whatever those hidden jewels may be for you and letting yourself be surprised as well. Because there's a tendency that when we go through hard times that we kind of want to plow forward or move forward, and stopping to recall and really kind of breathe our energy back in can be important.
So true. And I'm over here seeing, I made another movie. Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. Okay, I have one more surprise, Mary. And yes, like emote when we have the dance party tonight, and we share the link. And one more video to share with you, and let me go grab the Zoom link. I'm just going to do our regular Zoom. So for those of you that want to join for a dance party,
or a meditation.
Yeah, Adele, Mary, you read my mind. I was resisting, and when I tapped in, there was a lot of grief. I was surprised. So true. It's so good to slow down. So dance party, 7 p.m. Central Time. Here's the link on Zoom. And I'll post this later too. So there's that. Mary's going to be back right wherever you're tuning in now. Mary will be back at 6 p.m. at Central. Meditation with Mary. And then we'll do an altar. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Get ready. It's a Pixie Mary video. So it starts on the land. Actually, it starts with Alberto. And this is us walking to the Basilica last December, which was a far way away.
That was a long walk.
And that's really how our year started.
Yeah.
And then this is San Antonio.
Oh, we found churches.
We found churches. We found a lot of churches. Love streaming from San Antonio.
Our studio. Altar. Our second office.
More churches.
More churches.
Or that was a mission.
Yeah.
Lots of chocolate.
Best chocolate ever.
And this is Las Vegas, where we moved to, guided by the Virgin Guadalupe.
Hi, Franklin. Oh, meditation spots. Yes. Black Lives Matter rally.
More churches.
Oh, wow.
Taos.
Oh. Taos.
Garden of the Goddess.
Yeah. That dress.
Cafes. That dress and our cafes. Yep. Yay. Thanks for being part of my life, Mary, and for one wild ass ride in 2020.
Thank you for being in my life, HeatherAsh. Our friendship, love, compatibility, teaching, all the things that we do together, I am continually surprised and gifted by, and it really is like a locomotive to the center of my life. And there was no one else this year I would have rather have taken this ride with in such big ways. So I love you with all my heart. And I love that slideshow. I'm going to need some of those pictures.
I'll send you the kitty and the Mary Pixie slideshow. Love you, sweetheart. And I've got one more slideshow that I'll share later. Maybe I'll share it tomorrow, which is us of the building, the Warrior Heart Ranch. And it was amazing to pull photos because I pulled photos from when we were knocking down the old adobe all the way through today. So it's epic. It's really long, so it's going to take me a minute to pull it, but I'll play it later. Wendy, the link for Mary's meditation, 6 p.m. right here. So there's no specific link, just wherever you're tuning in now, if it's on Facebook. And you, for those of you, let me just share. So here's the easiest way to find lives, HeatherAsh.Amara/live. If you go to Facebook, show your working hands. Yeah, I know. I have dirt under my fingernails. Can you see? I've got burns on my hand. Yeah, that's my, hi mama. So there's Facebook. So you can always watch live there or on YouTube. So let me do the YouTube version. And that's youtube.com/. All right, I'm back. So there's that YouTube. Did that work? No, it didn't. Okay, let me try it again. www.youtube.com/Heather. So again, we're going to take a break. This is your opportunity to integrate, to get some food, to rest, and then Mary will be back in an hour at 6 p.m. Central with a meditation. Mary's special meditation she's so gifted at, so just come be loved on by Mary. I'll be back at 7 on Zoom. Again, that Zoom link, and you can always go back to Facebook page to find that link. I'll post it for a dance party. I'll just DJ. Mary's going to sit in her seat, and if she wants to.
Maybe, yeah.
You've got coffee, yay! Coffee makes everything better. And chocolate.
And chocolate.
And chocolate. All right, loves. So take a break now, integrate if you want. Back in an hour for meditation with Mary, right here, wherever you are. And 7 p.m. dance party on the Zoom link. I can share that Zoom link again. And I'll post it. Dance party 7 p.m. And then I'll build an altar and we'll put names in the altar. So if there's anybody that you want me to do prayers for tonight, you can send me their name or post it on Facebook now or later, and I'll check all the posts. So there's been some folks that people have asked to pray for, so we can do that. Any last words, Mary?
So grateful. Yes, take time and review for yourselves, and we'll drop in a little bit more deeply together in an hour. So, and thanks for joining in.
Thanks, darling. I'll put Amigo in for sure. All right, loves, take care. Again, feel free to come back in an hour, meditation with Mary, 7 p.m. dance party on the Zoom link. If you've got any people that you want me to put into a prayer bowl for tonight, please feel free to put their names here or on other posts, and I'll grab them. All right. Thanks, Mary. Love you.
Love you, sweetheart.
Bye. See y'all soon.